Welcome to episode 97 of the InGeneral podcast. My name's Jack, and as always, I'm joined with Chris and Asees. What is going on?
Hi.
We're on the ASMR podcast.
Oh yeah, Jurassic. It's not Lego.
some Lego smacking action. Fuck's sake. Oh,
Lego
God.
smacking.
It's good to be back, guys. Good to be back. I love this.
Yeah, no, it is
Love
nice
coming
having the
back.
pod. The introduction
I
of
love
video
it.
as well. Do you remember when we used to podcast 2015, 2014, 2015? We used to start with video, and then all of us would have a bad connection, and at some point we would just cut video.
It would just drop.
The
Good old days,
number
man.
of
Emergency
dropouts
pods.
we used to have.
It was authentic though. It was a cool little, it was a cute little thing back then.
People stuck with us.
for
Weirdly
some
enough.
reason, I don't know why.
Yeah. No, they
It's
really.
funny that back then, if you look at some of those podcasts, they got a lot of
A
listens,
lot of views.
a lot of
A
views.
lot of views. It's
Yeah, and
surprising how many people heard
our
voices.
Colin interview, the Colin interview remains the highest.
That makes
What interview
sense.
was this?
The time
You
that
know, the one where we interviewed Colin, and then he was like, "Hey, here's J.A. Bayona."
Oh my god!
he was
yes,
like, "Oh
yes,
yeah,
yes,
Jay
yes,
is
yes.
walking down the hall. Do you want him?"
We had a really structured interview, and then he brought Bayona on, and we were like,
You guys became very flustered. I can tell.
Well, it was
Like,
it was
oh,
tough
okay.
because
Well, how do you like dinosaurs?
we had it was like really rigid. Like there was like pre-approved questions that we were like allowed to ask and things that we were allowed to talk about. And obviously Bayona wasn't on that. So as soon as he's like, "Hey guys, like just chat with him, talk to him about whatever," we're like, how
The training wheels came off.
Yeah, you know what?
Yeah,
but it was
yeah,
also
seriously.
like, can we? Like we immediately were like flustered because normally
They're
we sort of
tricking
do
us.
whatever,
This is
but
the
that
test.
was
Universal's testing us.
that's it. But that was what 4 or 5 years ago now.
Oh my god! Yeah.
We'd be straight up now. We'd just be like, why did Fallen Kingdom suck, Bayona? Tell us.
Oh my gosh.
Well, you would, right? You just ask them straight, point blank. What are they going to
That's
say?
because we're jaded. We're old now.
Yeah, we're old, cynical, and we're doing ASMR.
you got a big bushy beard, Asees.
I do. It's the army. Blame the army.
I do.
We blame the army for a lot of things. Taking me away from Jurassic Outpost, boys.
Yeah,
Mm.
no, that's actually the truth. It's actually what happened to the podcast. The army happened to the podcast. Anyways, so
He went to a literal outpost, though. That's the thing.
True. He was actually spreading the word of Jurassic Outpost.
The
The
pens came
gospel.
with me across Canada, so there you go.
That's it. All right, well, guys, it was really nice talking to you today.
This one.
And,
Great episode, guys.
so
Welcome
we
to the episode 97, episode 98 of the InGeneral.
98. Okay, we are so close to 100. What are we doing for 100?
Me and Jack are definitely going to be in Vancouver for sure.
Yeah, we should all
There's like no
try
excuse.
and get together.
Yeah, why?
we should do a
Christopher, you're so
mass.
close to us. Come with us.
I don't think that I'm allowed in the country.
You are soon, I think.
Okay. Yeah,
Okay, we're
I
gonna
don't
start
exactly know.
Patreon. We're starting OnlyFans. We're gonna make sure we can get the money to get Chris over here.
Mhm.
You heard it here first. Link it on a link tree.
We have some very exciting things to talk about, and we're going to do it in the least exciting order possible. So,
Heck yes.
first up, the Captives pre-order. No, if you go to... Actually, Chris, you can run us through this.
If you go to www.jurassicoutpost.com/store, you might be greeted with an interesting graphic. Hell, you might be greeted with an interesting blah, blah, blah.
Almost had it, guys. He almost had it. We could almost clip that.
All right, let's rewind. Hell, you might be greeted with an interesting graphic on our main homepage. And you might see that we have an exclusive pre-order on the Captives Mega Egg. Now, what is the Captives Mega Egg, you might be
Tell us.
asking? Well, Captives are a series of miniature minifigs. Of course, they're miniature the minifigs in the name. Well, that's redundant. Anyhow, Jack, take it from here.
Oh.
Actually, Asees, take it from here.
Oh, right. So, yeah, basically we're running a sale for it's limited. You literally, there's 250 eggs currently sat in Chris's house.
You know that scene in Alien?
No, it's the scene right at the end of Godzilla 98 in the subway. In the subway. That's what Chris is living like right now. There's 250 Jurassic World official Captives mega eggs sat in Chris's house, and we are selling them on Jurassic
Asees
Outpost.
has a mega egg, not a mega egg, a Captives egg.
I do.
He has a mini egg.
I ran and got one.
Mini egg.
Yes, unopened.
Unopened. You don't know what's inside. Okay, so, anyways, Captives are minifigures. They're collectible dinosaur minifigures based upon the Jurassic Park films, the Jurassic World films, and Camp Cretaceous. They are really nice, actually. They kind of caught our attention when they launched. I think it was last year. We immediately noticed that they were like a lot better than a lot of the other minifigures on the market. I mean, to be entirely candid, they're a lot better than the Mattel ones. They look quite accurate to the films, have a lot of detail, and have a lot of paint deco. So anyways, the Clash Edition is the new edition of the Mega Eggs with a bunch of new dinosaurs, and then, not Mega Eggs, the Captives eggs. And then the Mega Egg is a giant egg with more than just the typical minifigures. There's a bunch of other things in there. So the Mega Egg is a $20 product, kind of a collector's gift set. And it's available first through Jurassic Outpost. It will eventually hit retailers, depending on what part of the world you're in. It might hit sooner rather than later. I can say that in the United States, you'll definitely be able to get it a lot sooner from Jurassic Outpost than you will be able to get it from stores.
I'm opening one right now as Chris is saying this, by the way, everyone.
And and ours is we're selling it for the MSRP. We've partnered up with Toy Monster to do it, so it's not anything. You're not paying a premium or anything on it. So yeah, go check that out. I definitely recommend them. We're running kind of low on them already. We've sold quite a few, so this will probably it might be one of the only chances if you're in the United States to get it at retail price, because to be honest with you, the Mega Egg SKU might not get picked up until Dominion, which means it'll be a different SKU. It'll be different figures. So to get the Clash Edition figures, this might be one of your only chances to get them through the Mega Egg SKU, and definitely one of your first chances to get them in the United States.
Yeah,
it
is a very exclusive deal.
Through the slime.
Yeah, so there's slime in the eggs, apparently.
Yeah.
It's very gross.
There's slime. Food. There's slime inside the eggs. Lava-like slime.
I was smelling. I'm like, what is this? It's awful.
Did you eat it?
What did it taste like?
No.
It's non-toxic, but don't eat it.
I haven't eaten it yet.
Well, you opened the egg thus far, so let's figure out what dinosaur's inside.
All right, let's do it. This is very exciting for the visuals.
There's multiple. So he's opening one in the regular egg capsules, and there's gonna be multiples of those inside of the Mega Egg.
Wow,
we have an unboxing on our YouTube channel, by the way.
That.
Yeah.
Be forewarned, people. This is very slimy, and
it's also toxic. It says on the egg you're supposed to wear gloves, man.
You
Can you imagine?
Read the instructions, dude.
To be clear, incredibly toxic.
Incredibly toxic. Okay. It's basically acid.
Initial review: the bag is too slippery with the slime.
Oh yeah, you gotta use your teeth.
I'm not putting this in my mouth, dog.
It's toxic.
It's slime.
Don't put it anywhere near your mouth. You gotta wash those hands, Asees.
It's made out of pure sugar.
This is horrendous.
So that's actually edible. It's meant to be eaten.
Well, why don't they make it edible? Oh, I guess they'd have different licenses for that, right?
Yeah, probably. That probably gets very complicated.
They have Kinder eggs.
Kinder eggs are a food product, though. They should make Kinder eggs. Well, actually, I did.
Now, can you imagine the difficulty I had when I was opening these for an unboxing on camera, and I couldn't let the runtime go up? I had to very quickly problem solve.
Yeah, where did you put the slime? On your pants?
Oh, I just pulled
in.
Yeah, but it's like okay.
I put the.
Oh my god! Okay, listeners, if you've never had one of these eggs, I encourage everyone to go buy one because it's ridiculous.
The play slime is like your traditional like kids like toy like play slime. So it's like that, like, you know, it sticks to itself, but you might get like a little residue on you that you then gotta like wipe on the slime to like get it back in it. It's like fun. It's like a clear slime. It's sort of like solid. Sort of
it's
amber
fun for
colored
kids, for sure.
Sort of amber colored. The Clash Edition is lava colored, but what I noticed is it kind of looks like blood. So like it looked like in the unboxing we were looking at it, we're like, this is kind of gory looking. Like it's just like this Brachiosaurus birthed in blood. He used his teeth.
It's dedication to the channel.
Come on, what dinosaur did you get?
I'm working on it, guys. My hands are so slippery.
I picked up one of those Kinder Egg Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom Kinder Eggs.
The blue?
And they're bad.
Yeah,
bad,
Kinder Eggs.
Little molds. Bad little dinos.
So basically, when it comes to minifigs in Jurassic World, your options are Mattel, Captives, and Kinder Eggs. Captives are the way to go.
Kinder Eggs.
What you get?
Okay, I'm going to give you guys each one guess.
Bumpy.
The Carno.
I got the T-Rex. Heck
Oh,
yes.
we were both wrong.
Very cool. Very cool.
Is it original Rexy? Does she have the scars? Is it Rexy from the first film or Jurassic World? Come on. Which
I
Rex
don't know
design is it? Is it close to the animatronic or what? What's
This
going
is better than Jurassic World. Just kidding. Just kidding. Just
on?
kidding.
It's not.
No,
Come
this
on.
looks very good.
Don't be
though. This
mean.
is very detailed.
Well, I'll tell you why, because it's built directly from the ILM model.
You don't say.
Yeah.
This looks like
They-
the T-Rex is doing the pose from the end of Fallen Kingdom when the T-Rex
You should really
roars
call
at
it the end of Fallen Kingdom when the end of Fallen Kingdom pose is the pose from the end of Jurassic Park.
Well, no, because
Did you really? Did your mind really go to Fallen Kingdom before Jurassic Park, Asees?
the egg says Jurassic World, not Jurassic Park. Everyone, so that's that.
Did you
That's very
Did
good,
you
though.
see
Very
that the
cool.
Clash Edition has the Herrerasaurus from Jurassic Park the game in it?
I did not know this.
Yeah.
Like from the game, like the exact design, exact coloring.
It's the design and color from Jurassic Park the game. Yeah,
Very cool.
and there's
Didn't
a few
Colin
other.
say Jurassic Park the game is canon?
No,
The Telltale game.
Oh no!
no, that was way before Colin's time. But no,
I swear what did he say was canon then? He like something older. I swear he said it was canon.
Jurassic
no,
Park
no,
3
no,
on the
no,
top
no.
was.
You're
It was
confusing
something that before his time, but it was said was canon. No, I
No.
swear it was that Telltale.
No.
I don't know what you're
In
talking
fact,
about. dude.
the only thing that Collins really said is canon is more in the opposite. He'll say the things that come out are not canon. No, the only thing that he's really come out and said was canon was the evolution of Claire.
Okay.
Oh, look, yeah, she's got her like Rexy eyeshadow and everything there.
She looks good, man. Looks very detailed. These are
Yeah.
That
great.
is a good looking minifig.
So the captive one, is it a bigger dinosaur toy?
So the mega egg? No,
Yes.
there's multiples inside of it and a
Oh, I
bunch of
see.
other items.
Very cool. Yeah, I recommend everyone go get one of these because these are very cool. If you've been missing the itch for like a good blind bag dinosaur from Jurassic
Good
Park
minifig.
or Jurassic World, this is the one you want to do.
Yeah, no, they're really
Absolutely is what you
nice.
wanna do.
They're
Yeah,
really
these are
nice.
great.
They're fun to open. They're
That's a lot of
yeah.
cool. That's really cool.
And then there's also
And in the
a game
Mega
that you
Egg,
can-
what's
like a
it?
combat game
$20.
can
You
play with
get
them.
three. You get three.
You get
dinos.
3 of those, and then
bunch of other
a
stuff, too.
vehicle, a bunch like a collector's case, a bunch of other stuff inside of it. Yeah,
and the
no, it's
vehicle
pretty
is actually screen accurate too.
cool. Very screen accurate. It's
Yeah.
it's a T-Rex head on wheels. It's the most screen accurate you've ever seen it. It's one of those like little pullback cars.
But there's only a handful of eggs left. There's only a grouping of eggs.
I would
left.
say a bushel, a basket
A
of eggs.
cluster, if
A
you will.
cluster.
There's a cluster
nest
of
of
eggs
eggs.
left.
A nest.
nest.
Wow. It took us too
and-
long to get the nest, guys.
Yeah, we were like
We're
referring to them
kidding,
like
we're
they're
done.
apples or something. We're spending way too much time on this. Let's move on.
This is
Okay,
great,
so
though. No,
Ariana
very cool,
Grande
though.
is returning to the Jurassic Park franchise.
Say again
You
now?
You might want to change that last name.
Ariana Richards has teased a possible return to the world of Jurassic.
World.
To the world of Jurassic World. So it's basically, I
Tell
mean, for the past
myself.
couple of years since they've been making Dominion, everybody that's been in the previous films has been asked, "Are you returning? Are you coming
Mhm.
back?
Yeah.
Are you going to have a place in Dominion?" And Ariana Richards has said a couple of times, "Oh, I'd love to."
Almost like Grande there again.
No. But now she's answered a question on a podcast. The podcast was Celebrity Catch Up. And she responded with the words, "Now that is something I wouldn't be able to comment on."
It could be nothing, guys. Come on.
It really could be nothing, but that's
It's
an
been years
interesting
of
reply.
nothing. Is it?
That's I think that reply it can't exactly just be out of nowhere.
Well, no,
So-
Joe Mazzello's been saying the same stuff for years, though.
So Joseph
No.
Mazzello responded. So he tweeted in February of 2020, "I think it's time to get back to work, guys. What do you say?" And gang. And he also has done nothing since Bohemian Rhapsody. He's been
That could be
secretly
nothing
filming.
as well, guys.
It absolutely could
That
be
could be nothing, but
However-
no, he hasn't said like, "Oh, I can't comment on that." So here's the thing: if somebody's not in something, they'll normally be like, "I'm not in it, but I'd love to be," or like, like, "Hey, I won't count my chickens yet. They can always give me a call." They'll give some sort of
Sure.
answer like that. When she says, "Now that's something I can't talk about," that doesn't necessarily mean that she's in Dominion, but it wouldn't surprise me if that means that she's talking to Universal about something at least. Do you know what I
Yes,
mean?
and-
Or at the very least, there might be something on the horizon. So
Mhm.
she's just kind of being an answer like that means that there is some sort of recent discussion about something. In my mind, that's what it means. It doesn't necessarily mean Dominion, but it means, and it could be something as simple as like an appearance at a convention.
I'm going to jump in and I'm going to say, I think Tim and Lex are in Dominion, and I think they have a cameo. I think they have a scene or a couple of scenes. I think they're there. I just think it seems right, and it wouldn't be for very long.
Yeah.
But I think as this is the movie that ties everything together, Chris Pratt and many of the actors have said they're bringing everybody back. Tim and Lex are the two that really should be coming back if everybody's coming back, even if it's for a small amount of time. From the first film, everything ties it together. They're Hammond's grandkids. It's all supposed to tie together this movie. As Chris has mentioned many times, they would have such a or they would most likely have an interest or a vested. They would be part of InGen in some way,
or if not InGen, at least Hammond's estate. And Hammond's estate has such a strong legacy and tie to what Jurassic Park and eventually Jurassic World became. Whether or not it had any power over it, there's no doubt that they still have, at the very least, just kind of I think like even like the media and the global powers to be would sort of like kind of pull them into it, if that makes sense. Do you know what I mean? Like whether or not they like had much of a control over it, they're some of the people, some of the most, you know, intrinsically tied people to Hammond at this point. And people tied to the Jurassic Park incident. So that's sort of something you could never escape.
I just think it makes sense. Let's think about it. So they were in the first one. They were both very prominent roles in the first one. Very important characters to the story. And have still gone on as time gone on. They're very iconic characters. They're not forgettable in any way. They cameoed in The Lost World at Hammond's mansion, and then we never heard of them again. Never heard from them since. After the events of Jurassic World, it would make sense that maybe they're keeping their mouths shut. They don't want to be part of that press. After the events of Fallen Kingdom, however, I think depending on what Hammond's estate's been doing, depending on what's gone on, it certainly does make sense for them to return.
Well, we know that John Hammond himself wanted the dinosaurs to live in peace, you know, on Isla Sorna untouched, and Jurassic World is definitely not what John Hammond had in mind or had hoped for. So even if the Jurassic Park experience was traumatizing to them or not, we know that they're still very close with Hammond from The Lost World. So I wouldn't be surprised if they would like to see maybe that legacy respected in one way or another.
I think we will. I think everyone wants them back as well at this point. It's for some sort of closure, or maybe just like
even just to see Tim and Lex,
what's going on. Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
To see them after like this amount of time, everything that's happened,
you know,
and seeing Ellie and Alan, see them. And Malcolm as well. The same in The Lost World when they see Malcolm and they're like, Dr. Malcolm, and they go crazy. Even though they didn't spend that much time, you know, with him in Jurassic Park. He was somebody that was one of the most memorable parts of their life, whether good or bad.
It's an easy scene for the directors to add just for like a fan moment.
She's in it for sure. And I think Joseph Mazzel's
I hope so.
Sure.
I hope so.
I could see them even being contacted about like, you know, after Lockwood's death. I could see them being questioned. Like, not questioned. I mean, like brought in to like comment on it, because there's no doubt, considering Lockwood and Hammond were partners, I would not be surprised if they had known Lockwood or.
Oh, maybe, sure.
Yeah, I feel like that might be an easy in for them. That might be
maybe
a logical way of why we're finally here.
Maisie, who knows? The first Maisie.
Friends with Maisie. Never know. No, I don't think anybody knew about Maisie, to be honest.
The first Maisie, the lady, the small.
The first. Well, no, because she would have been too old.
Oh, I don't know that.
I think. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I take it she would have been too old. It's hard to say. She might have been a kid. Who the hell knows?
I don't know. There's so much play they can have with just like the time frame of when that picture was taken in the Fallen Kingdom. So like it could be same as.
It looked old. The thing is that photo did not look.
Older,
it did not look like it was like from the 90s or anything like that. That looked like she would have been like an adult by the time like Jurassic Park rolled around.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll find out.
Maybe.
Yes.
I don't. Will we? I guess we will. Possibly.
I mean, the movie's coming out. We'll find out if they're in the movie or not. So yeah.
I think they're in for sure. I think it makes sense.
It makes sense.
If they're in, I want Kelly and Sarah.
There's no way Sarah Harding's in
I
the
want
movie. There's
Sarah
no
and Kelly would be cool as well. Like, I mean, at the very least, like even if we see like, I still think it'd be really funny as hell if we like saw Malcolm pull out his wallet, and you know how people have like family photos in their wallet, and like it just like unraveled, and there's like 20 kid photos inside of his wallet.
That'd be hilarious.
From that line that
That'd be
Kelly says, you know, you love
hilarious.
having kids, you just don't like, you know, being with them or
You
whatever
don't
it is.
want-
So like it would be, or it'd be really funny if like we see his office or something like that, and he's got like 20 different like family photos where he's like smiling and posing with like different families and different
That's
kids
super
and whatnot.
dark. That's kind of
And
dark.
there's just
though, dude.
like 15 different family photos like posted around, just like
all the ex
What?
Mrs. Malcolms.
Dr.
Yeah.
Malcolm's a scumbag, dude.
Like that would be a way to get Kelly and Sarah in there, though.
I guess. Yeah,
I
that's
just feel
the way I
like-
can see them being in it. Sure.
You know, it just makes sense, bringing everything back, rounding the story up. This is supposed to be the closure, this is supposed to be the end of it, this is supposed to be, you know, the thing that really ties the first to the last, and it is that connection to Hammond, and it makes sense to me. I'm guaranteeing they're in it. They've got to be in it.
You're
They've
that
gotta be in it.
confident.
I'm
You know
that
what?
confident.
The Kirby's are in it too. Why not? Let's just throw everyone in.
Why
Billy's
the
got
hell
to.
not? I'm in for the Kirby's. The Kirby's should have returned in every movie past Jurassic Park 3.
Oh, yeah.
Do you think, though, seriously, if they made Jurassic Park 4 in 2005, as they had initially planned, on the same timeline running after Jurassic Park 3, do you think any of the Kirby's would have made their way into that?
Yeah,
film?
Eric,
As far as we
maybe-
know, no, that was never in the plans.
But
Yeah, there was never
really?
a plan, but then...
But they were signed for multiple movies, weren't they?
Yeah, they were signed, but I think they knew that movie was a bust.
Oh.
Like, I think the studio and
I think
filmmakers
logically,
that movie
Eric,
didn't work.
Eric would have
I
been
think-
logical.
And Billy.
I suppose. I mean, the idea of bringing a
And
kid
Billy,
back,
yeah.
like, oh, this kid liked
Yeah.
dinosaurs and he had a traumatic experience, and now he's important, is sort of silly to me.
He'd be Billy's
And-
underling,
true.
man.
But Eric always had an
Billy
interest,
would have made sense,
vested
except for
interest in
Billy, the
dinosaurs
actor,
and
would have
them.
never came back.
But if they followed that timeline of dinosaurs getting off the island, you know, if Jurassic Park 4 was going to be extinction, breakout, whatever it was, Eric coming back would make sense. He survived that time on the island, and he's got a vested interest in it, and now he sees the dangers and would be like, okay, well, we
So
need
what
this
is he,
to
like a
stop.
14-year-old activist?
He could be
100%.
like,
We need to
first
stop this.
university student,
Chris,
guys,
he would
come
be
on.
so many years older than 14. How old is he in Jurassic Park 3? Do we even know?
12.
12?
Yeah,
Was he
he's
12?
Yeah.
Was he
12?
that young in that movie?
Yeah,
Being a
man.
14, 15, 16-year-old.
You let a 12-year-old go
activist.
parasailing alone? No, he's not. Oh, wait, what? I don't remember the rest of the line. Doesn't matter. I remember the start of the line.
He wasn't alone. He was with a friend.
Ben
He
Hildebrand.
was
There.
a
Thank you.
friend.
Thank you. I instantly forgot that line. That was so embarrassing. Shoot, I thought I had it.
Well, you've moved on to the Lost World.
That's true. I have. moved on to
You
Lost
finally
World.
admit it.
I have.
So, let's talk animated shows.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
I heard of
There
it.
is one.
Let me pick a random Jurassic animated show.
Yeah.
Pick a random one. Let's go with Camp Cretaceous.
Lego: The Indominus Escape.
God no.
Oh, those are two
I
top
wish
tier
Lego
ones,
would
yeah.
just let go of Jurassic.
I
at this
stopped.
point.
I stopped watching them. I
Well,
genuinely
I
really-
know.
like they.
I know.
I cannot get. You know, it's funny. Lego actually, like a lot of Lego shorts and a lot of Lego films are really good. The Lego Jurassic films are really bad. They're no like, and I don't mean that in terms of like they're not canon or anything like that. I mean like the
They are
writing,
canon.
the writing, everything like that is just really, really bad. There's a lot of like just sort of it's weird how they handle it. They make a caricature out of all the wrong characters. They throw away any character that isn't basically Owen, and they throw basically every character. Ironically, they throw every minority character under the bus in that show. Dr. Wu,
Ironically, wow.
Simon Masrani. Yeah, no, it's like sort of like I was watching
I don't
these. I'm
like
like, this
that.
seems to be like bad form.
Yeah, I don't like that at all.
Every single character that you have that's a minority in the show is being treated really poorly and made to look like a complete idiot or a complete like it's just it's weird. They are so poorly made. I cannot get over that they've ever been approved. Like I was watching them, I'm like, this is bad. Like not just bad, but bad. Like kind of embarrassing.
I just
anyhow
don't really understand why people like that kind of content anyway. I'm not
Well, it's for
criticizing anybody. Just genuinely, I just don't get it.
Well, it's for
It's
kids.
animated Yeah,
Kids
no,
like it,
but
I'm
that's
sure.
the thing. It's not. There's a lot of adults that like that stuff, which is again fine. Not questioning any of that. But that Legos are little things you play with when you're kids, and it's fun. Legos are awesome, and even some of the modern sets like are cool. Like the Capitol building is set. It's cool. Like all that kind of stuff is cool. Hogwarts that's actually one I want. I'd love
Of course,
I'd
Harry
love
Potter's
Lego
podcast.
Hogwarts, but animated shows, like an animated show of a thing that you play with, like it just I don't get it. And the Jurassic ones are so cringy, and the game
that's the thing.
was barely like it was the only thing I could tolerate was the game.
The game was
And
pretty
then
fun.
I couldn't go back to it though. I just
Really?
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know. I think it just really comes down to the writing. When you have things like the Lego Movie being a good movie, it's like it goes to show you that it doesn't necessarily matter what the basis is. I think
yeah.
that
See, I
if
thought
it's
that
good,
movie
it's good.
sucked.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah.
no,
See,
I don't want to get into this. I love that movie.
I hated that
Lego
movie.
Lego Movie's a good, fun movie.
It's like an
in my
ADHD
opinion.
trip. It's like a crazy trip.
Sure. No, it's got a lot of that. I mean, it's a movie for kids, but I thought that overall it was enjoyable, well made, funny. But I just don't think the Lego Jurassic World shorts are. I think that they're surprisingly poor for the Lego branded like short film and like animated series brand. Normally those are pretty decent. They're not necessarily for me, but they're normally pretty decent. And the Jurassic ones have been pretty poor, in my opinion. And again, that has nothing to do with like them paying attention to the lore or whatnot. It's not really meant to worry about that stuff. It's meant to do its own thing. But anyhow, there's another animated series.
But who's behind them? Sorry, who's behind like the Lego ones? Is Colin on the writing team for that, or probably doesn't have?
No, I doubt it. Like, I don't think that really matters.
Because I swear, aren't they considered canon?
No,
no,
way. No, they straight up changed. No, they straight up changed the events.
Okay, well, listen. Speaking of non-canon shows, let's talk Camp Cretaceous. So, you mean there are two islands with dinosaurs on them?
Right? Maybe 3, maybe 4,
maybe 3.
Yeah,
maybe 4.
Maybe a lot. Maybe okay.
So the first teaser for season 4 of Camp Cretaceous came out. Now, I'd like to point out something. We predicted in a YouTube video that Camp Cretaceous season 4 would hit in December. And what's the release day on that one, Chris?
December.
Oh, December. Is it? Interesting.
December 3rd. We were wrong. So
we were wrong by 3 weeks. we predicted 23rd, didn't we?
So December's December, guys.
No, I mean we knew it was December.
We got it right.
We had thought that it'd be a little bit later December. I am surprised it's coming out so early in December. I'm happy.
I'm taking it. I want it.
Yeah, I'm happy.
It does make sense.
But yeah,
December
it makes
3rd,
it
easier. Yeah.
Season 4. There's a 15-second teaser, and teaser is really like the word because there's not much to glean from it.
So,
however,
it opens up, it glitches in, it opens up very dark blue, nighttime view of the coastline, which very much reminds me of, beginning of Lost World. Every time we see the island at night in Jurassic or in Camp Cretaceous.
To be fair, we've seen Isla Nublar looking just like that in the earlier.
No, exactly. Yeah, it looks like a Jurassic island at night, misty seas, and we're slowly tracking towards it. It says on December 3rd, and this is it. It glitches, and you can see the glitch goes across the screen. What do you call it? It's like in Cabin in the Woods when he tries to jump out of the dome. They're inside like a invisible
like a little
like the force field type thing.
It's a force field type thing, and that glitches, and in one of those hexagons, you can see what appears to be. I'm going to argue.
Is that how you're viewing it?
That's a very interesting take.
That's not how I was viewing it. So how I was viewing
goes
it
across the
is
whole
we're tracking towards an island, and then we're glitching to see like through the perspective of it just being some sort of like, and wait, there's more. Like I didn't think that is a like a cloaking device of an island, but really
no, I'm not saying the island's cloak. It's not like the Lost Island or something. No, it just that's how it look visually. That's what it looks like. It's like going across the whole screen, like one of those things does, and like there's like something hit it, and then it's revealed, and the rest of them kind of. You can see the rest of them, but they fade away. If that makes sense, like that's that's the effect it has. It's like something hit the force field, and then it shatters away, and then it's gone again. But it displays what looks like a desert. There's cacti in there, and I would say, our best guess is Atacama Desert of Chile.
I suppose, like I have thoughts on why that would work, thoughts why that wouldn't work. But I do find it interesting. So the tagline is is it a new island awaits?
So it says on December 3rd, we get that glitch, and then it glitches to a new island awaits, and then we slowly track towards this coastline. You get the roughs, you get the seas, you get the Camp Cretaceous logo, you get a bit more of the hexagon force field thing, you get a glitch. So it's December 3rd.
I really almost feel like we would not have seen that deserty glitch if it weren't for everyone being like, Sorna. And I almost feel like at least a good portion of the season's not going to be what people expect it to be. And I think that at this point they're trying to get ahead of that so people aren't disappointed, where it just immediately throws us a curveball and takes us somewhere completely unexpected. However, a new island awaits tagline certainly puts people right back on the Sorna sort of speculation. But seeing that desert, it's very clear that desert location was not Sorna. That was not the game trail from the Lost World. I know some people thinking that, but
I think it's going to be two dual storylines, don't you think?
I think that it starts at one place and ends up somewhere else. I think that it might. I think that there might be a parallel between the story of Fallen Kingdom and the way that Fallen Kingdom is structured and the season. So I think that we start at point A, a familiar island, Jurassic-like location, and then whatever unfolds, we then leave with the people that are pillaging and then end up at their HQ. In this case, I think we're going to end up on Isla Sorna or something similar, maybe Site C, maybe one of the other 5 deaths. The campers are going to find that Manticore, or maybe even Biosyn, but I feel like Manticore makes more sense, are pillaging the island. And then they either are kidnapped, or what would make more sense is they sneak onto the boat, the plane, whatever, to try to get out of there. And then they end up at Manticore or Biosyn HQ or whatnot, where they're like stealing the dinosaurs from this island, stealing the technology from this island, and bringing it away to their headquarters. And then the kids are sort of like out here, and it's got that same kind of concept. They're out in the middle of a desert. They're still stranded from civilization because they don't have any form of communication. And yeah, they might not have water around them, but they've got miles and miles and miles and miles of deadly desert that you just can't just sort of walk away and be like, okay, there's no fences holding them in. There's no water line holding them in. They would still die.
Sure.
So I do, there is some potential that desert location is an island as well. But I think the new island...
It could be the game trail from Lost World.
I think that the new island that awaits is what we're tracking into for the primary part of the teaser. I imagine it's Sorna. I feel like that makes the most amount of sense. But I do think that they put that desert part in there to basically so people don't expect like a season dedicated to Sorna, because I think that maybe expectations are set too high at this point.
So there's a lot of evidence for Sorna. You've got everything that we talked about in that video. You've got toy lines bringing out toys that were dinosaurs that were in JP3. You've got I can't remember what else. There's a lot.
I mean, even like
Sorna,
Captives.
right?
Yeah, I mean, like the Captives toy line. They've got the Pachycephalosaurus coming out. There's a Spinosaurus. There's Spinosaurus and Mattel. There's a lot of other, like there's Mattel's got the Lost World Pteranodon. They've got the JP3 female raptor.
JP3 Pteranodon, the raptor, the Spino, and Mattel's like Spino release, and then another Spino release with the T-Rex. Release. There's a lot that points towards, it seems like it's Sorna, and then obviously the logistics of leaving Isla Nublar. I mean, they very well could end up on Isla Sorna, especially because they're kids, man. Their navigating isn't going to be the best. So they could go there, but the teaser, I think as Chris says, the teaser, a new island awaits, and it's tracking towards an island that seems tropical. Everybody's thinking, oh well, it is Sorna then, and they either had always planned that, but they gave that glitch to be like, or is it Sorna?
Yeah, I honestly think that the reason why that glitch is there is because people are like, oh my god, it's Sorna. People are getting very hyped up, and they're probably like, shoot, like, yes, it is, but that's not our primary focus, and we want people to be excited that we're going somewhere new rather than people feel let down that they didn't spend time with what they were hoping for that was familiar. So I do
but then
think
really they could have just changed the teaser to not say a new island awaits.
Yeah, so a new island awaits is probably like a new location awaits would probably be even a little better if that's the case. But I mean, again, if they do end up on Sorna, it makes sense. Or if they do end up on an island at first for the first 1/3 of the season, and then they get whisked away to an all new location. And again, that
So
tracks with what Colin said. Do you want
Yes, about all new locations. Somewhere
Yes.
all new that they've not been in the movies before. Now, in the video, again, we speculated that maybe... So Colin said an all new location that are new to the movies. But what's interesting...
like you guys said.
Yeah, so what I find interesting is that Sauna hasn't been visited in the Jurassic World movies. So I wonder if Sauna is technically new to the movies.
I don't think that's how he views that.
No, I said in the video, I think that it's the whole franchise. But I think, what if somebody else or Biosyn has taken over Isla Sorna, the kids end up there, and the island is covered in biomes containing multiple different locations, multiple different environments where they're raising different types of prehistoric animals. There's a Spinosaurus, but the Spinosaurus is being raised in deserty, dry wasteland, which could explain why the Spino releases like a desert Spino color.
Wow, okay, dude, this is cool.
See, that's a really interesting idea, and you and I have talked, like, when we work on those videos, you and I discuss it a lot and things like that, and like that is one of the things that, like, I could humor that. However, when we look at that mountain range in the background, it just looks way too big to be a biome, in my opinion. At least way too big to be a biome on Isla Sorna. So if
you compare images of that desert to the Atacama Desert, the real one in Chile, it's pretty close. Same. It's the same thing.
Post a picture somewhere about that on the Twitters.
Yeah. But to be fair, I mean, a lot of deserts could kind of share a very
it could be any desert, really.
Yeah, like there's a lot of locations that could share that look.
Work.
What we should mention as well is that in the Jurassic Park, Jurassic World universe, the Jurassic Park islands themselves, while people assume, it's just Hawaii, it's like they're fake islands, right? They're based on real islands, but they're fake islands. So they could just create more fake islands around the world. They could be, I think we said in the video, they could be a deserty island off the coast of Australia.
And the reason why we say that is because Mizrahi Global has, if you go to MizrahiGlobal.com, it talks about their energy operations, and we find out that they operate somewhere off the coast of Western Australia. So who's not to say that also alongside their energy operations that InGen didn't operate other facilities out there? Likewise, we should probably say why we're talking about the Chile location, because I don't think that we've actually said that on the podcast.
Why we think the Atacama.
We mentioned it before a couple of podcasts, but let's talk about it again.
I do think that it might be beneficial to
some context. Let's
give a little
context.
Why we
okay, so it's to do with the Jurassic World live tour. I've not seen that. Chris has seen that. Corey's seen that. A couple of people were lucky enough to see that. I think Brad saw that. I think he went with you to see that.
Cool.
So Atacama Desert of Chile is a location where InGen have been secretly, I think this was post the fall of Jurassic World, but almost immediately, they took or bred some raptors there. It was a continuation of the Ebris project.
Yeah, so
which the Ebris project is kind of that's what Blue and her squad came from.
In live tour, like when the fall of Jurassic World begins happening, we hear kind of InGen like we got to take this offshore, blah blah blah, and then like later on we find out through like the main characters, because they're trying to figure out where their Troodon is to check on the well-being of it. They check its tracking information, and they're like, it's in the middle of the Atacama Desert in Chile. So then they do some digging. They find out InGen's got a secret operation out there. They eventually go out there. There's raptors. InGen's got a raptor training program out there. There might even be more, but in the live tour, all that we ever find out about are the fact that there are velociraptors out there and a Troodon. Eventually our heroes get the Troodon and they bring it back to Isla Nublar. So that way the Troodon can be toasted by the volcano a few years later. It was a weird choice. It was a weird sort of choice. But yeah, so anyhow, we find out that InGen has a facility out there. During the events of live tour, the raptors escape. That sort of leads you to believe that the facility sort of was like screwed over, but maybe that was just like one aspect of it. But then we have the question, why is InGen still important to like the story of the campers? And we've been told that Camp Cretaceous season 4 and beyond is more tied to Dominion. I really can't imagine InGen's going to have much to say. So that brings me back to thinking, well, there's a few options. Maybe InGen was bought out by Biosyn. Maybe InGen was bought out by Manticore. However, I can't imagine Manticore had the money, considering they're like blackmailing kids to like steal dinosaurs. So that screams desperate and not necessarily in a position for hostile takeovers during a time of vulnerability in the corporate
But either
world.
way, there is a location that InGen or somebody owns down in the Atacama Desert of Chile, and if the kids, so I think as Chris made the assumption, the kids obviously end up on another island. So and it's probably one of the 5 deaths, but it wouldn't be for more than a couple of episodes before they get whisked away to some new location, which is where the rest of the season takes place, unless the whole season starts moving around. And I think it's interesting. 3 seasons, 1 location. It is time to start moving those kids around, getting into different locations,
Well,
and maybe mixing up the flow a bit. Because in each season, there's been one big threat that they've got to overcome, and they end up in a very similar place at the end of the season that they do at the first. Not a negative, just we're past that now. They've left the island. It's time to get into some real.
It's time to get into
stuff.
the bigger plot. Although the challenge is how realistic is it having a larger plot where we have location jumping with a bunch of stranded campers? That's the problem. Is our heroes?
Where are
their
their parents?
Show.
Where's Dave and Roxy?
So the other question is do Dave and Roxy come back? Would they go to Isla Nublar and then
rescue mission?
Yes. And do we go back to Isla Nublar through the perspective of Dave and Roxy trying to track the kids? So then are we going to also have like this parallel story where it's like the kids are on Sorna, Dave and Roxy are on Nublar, and they're trying to figure it out. The kids get whisked away to another location. Dave and Roxy somehow figure out that they might have ended up on Sorna, so then they go to Sorna, and then eventually Dave and Roxy then jump earth a new location, maybe at like season 5 where everyone like converges. So we could be seeing like kind of 2 or 3 locations in a season as like everyone tries to like eventually sort of hone in on each other and reconnect. But the question is how does it tie into Dominion? I was even thinking like, what if it is Biosyn and then like we see a young Giganotosaurus or something?
It's gonna be Alan Grant and Ellie Sattler, guaranteed. You'll see,
like like something along the night.
Well, I do think it's interesting. Like if they go to the Atacama Desert of Chile, it's good that Camp Cretaceous would be able to make Jurassic World Live Tour like this very much linked thing, and they all become part of the official universe. I know that Live Tour is considered soft canon, but like tying it into Camp Cretaceous, that would be cool. That makes sense. And having wild velociraptors again is something I don't think anybody would say no to.
No. And in the teaser, it does play the raptor theme from Jurassic
Yes, so
Park.
that's another thing that Caleb,
Nice
I think,
catch.
first pointed out. He is a music man, and he comes from far away. He made the assumption that the music that plays is the raptor motif from the original Jurassic Park score. And then it swells into an epic version of the signature Jurassic Park theme.
That they use for all the Camp Cretaceous stuff.
He also points out in the article that the inclusion of the raptor motif is interesting, as Isla Sorna is certainly known for its raptors, which you can't deny. There are two iterations of the raptors
Two
on
different
island.
tribes, some would say.
2 tribes, tribal. It's something I think would be really cool to see those raptors together.
No, I mean, I really hope so. And we know that there are. So here's the thing: we know through the camp some of the upcoming toys that there are more raptor toys coming out. The problem is one sort of looks like a redone version of the JP3 female, but the other 2 that we've seen are just random as hell. But they're in Camp Cretaceous packaging, so it's
they've always done random raptors though. In the
not so. The thing with it is starting when they started getting the Camp Cretaceous packaging right. It's only been things that are in Camp Cretaceous, and that started with Dino Escape. So they're in Dino Escape Camp Cretaceous packaging, and they are random as hell. Back during Primal Attack, everything that was coming out was in Camp Cretaceous packaging.
It seems like a coincidence. I don't know.
I mean, literally,
could be.
Literally, they went out of their way to get the packaging right. There's generic packaging for non-Camp Cretaceous dinosaurs. There's Camp Cretaceous for Camp Cretaceous dinosaurs.
Which is true. Dinosaurs in the same line.
All of a sudden.
So the other question is did they just throw random velociraptors in there because they knew the toys would come out before the show? They didn't want to spoil the show. They didn't want to like throw like the male and female JP3 raptors because they knew they couldn't hold it back. I don't know. It's possible, or are we going to go to a new location that is active? And unfortunately, we once again are going to see custom velociraptors with no ties to wild raptors in the past films that look like nothing, and they're once again like in a training program. Because to me, that's kind of boring.
Then we have to think if we're going just for raptors, then it's going to be the Spinosaurus. If the Spinosaurus they released is the colors that we see in Camp Cretaceous. By the way, we're definitely seeing the Spino this season, right? We have to. There has to be a Spinosaurus. It's, I think we've only seen it once.
Well, it can't be.
Spinosaurus is queen.
They keep doing new big bads. Okay, so we've already gone through the Carnotaurus. I guess like the new big bad could be
Carnotaurus
the
wasn't a big bad. Ben killed it. Remember?
Well, in season 1 it was a big
bad.
I could see the Allosaurus. I think there's a lot of circumstantial evidence for the Spinosaurus at this point. There's too many products and too many toys coming out around the same time, out of nowhere, for it to be in, like, again, we have to remember the fact that Camp Cretaceous and everything got pushed back because of Dominion's delay. So these products are coming out at the time that it would have been out
at this point.
Yeah, exactly. The show would have been finished by now.
Yeah.
So they pushed it back. So yeah, I do think there's a very good chance there's a Spinosaurus. I think it's pretty likely.
Heck yes.
I really hope there is. I want the return of the Spino. It was one of the best parts of Jurassic Park 3, and it was also just a cool dino.
I want the JP3 Raptors more than the Spino. I think the Spino is really cool, but the thing is there's only ever been one Spinosaurus. I like the idea of them finally like acknowledging the variance of dinosaur designs and variants of dinosaur species within like that one species. So like we've seen, or like even the pteranodons, like we've seen Jurassic World pteranodons. It would also be cool to see Jurassic Park 3 pteranodons or the Lost World pteranodons, just to remind us that these variants, these Jurassic Park era variants existed, they still exist, and they are different. I think that would be a lot of fun, because then we could, that kind of like, that's a lot of the lore. I mean, that's basically like what fans have always speculated, like in the Jurassic Park era, especially. The story was always about like, what were these variant designs? Where did they come from? Who made them? Why were they there? Why were they different? And I think that leaning into that would actually finally bring it, and just makes the world bigger, and it just kind of makes the sandbox bigger. Yeah, and it also allows Jurassic Park designs to persist in the Jurassic World era.
Well, here's a question. If they go to Isla Sorna, even for just a portion of the series, where on Isla Sorna do you think they go? What locations of Sorna would be the place that they would end up?
I mean, I imagine it'd be sort
Worker
of
Village eventually.
Yeah, I feel like it would be mostly nondescript until they hit the Workers Village or the EA.
And that's how they call for help to get out of there.
Well, I don't think they'll call for help. I think that they'll, if what we're led to believe from that little teaser ends up being the case, I think they're going to end up going there and they're going to go, oh, we're not alone on this island. And I do think, just like the first season of Camp Cretaceous, like followed the Jurassic World story, I think that the fourth season obviously won't follow the Fallen Kingdom story, but I think it's going to parallel it. So they're going to go there. There's going to be people on the island. They're going to be capturing dinosaurs. They're going to end up having to escape via sneaking onto like the transport vessel, and then they're going to end up at a brand new, all new location.
And
that's exactly
maybe
the way
those poached dinosaurs are the ones that end up in Dominion at that underground.
Yeah, where we see like the compies and stuff, and like what appears to be like the Malta Underground.
The Malta Underground, what do we call it? Black Market, that's it. Maybe that's where those dinosaurs end up. The kids end up there before we even see that location in Dominion. Maybe that's how the season ties to
and that could also be a Desert location. It's a little harder to believe that the kids end up in Malta and can't get help, though, because Malta isn't like a very remote, like, it's not like, unless it's like off the coast of Malta,
at this
like
point,
a fictional.
They're chasing the story.
Maybe, I don't know.
They don't want to get rescued anymore. They're too invested.
They're there for revenge. No, I mean, maybe off the coast of Malta there might be like a fictional island or something like that.
Well, Malta itself is a series of islands, so it could be any of them.
But I don't fully believe that would be like the location to have like a secret dinosaur facility. That's like large, I suppose.
I think that they almost are trying to throw people with this teaser by saying a new island awaits and then showing the desert. It's like, well, that's not an island. It's interesting. It's going to be good. 3rd of December. I'm excited.
We'll probably know more.
I'm always excited for Camp Cretaceous. I never thought I would be, man. I when it first was announced, and stuff, I was like, yeah, no. I hate Jurassic World.
There it is.
No. I don't know. There's something about it, man. It's fun.
It's fun.
It's
It's
like
just fun.
it's just easy fun. It's
Yeah.
still not what I want from this franchise, but it's
It's not
I
bad,
just
though.
I have fun with Camp Cretaceous. It's fun, except season 2. That was tough to get through.
Y'all are
season
haters.
Season 2 was rough.
Mm.
There's no doubt about it. It was
Season
it was
3.
so much different.
Season 3 was the best season.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I'll be very curious to see, and we probably will know more within like a week or two, because I think
I have
probably...
a feeling, yeah, there's going to be a teaser, then there's going to be a full trailer, and
then we'll get like a full trailer like a week before the season premieres or something like that.
Yeah, usually something like that. Yeah.
So
I'm excited.
A couple months coming up.
We'll know more.
For sure.
We'll know more soon, and I mean, we're getting to the point. We're getting to the place where we should be getting a Dominion trailer soon.
I mean, Jurassic World Evolution 2 comes out literally November 9th.
Yeah.
They'll have Evolution, or they'll have Dominion stuff in it for sure, right?
Probably. I mean, they probably were careful about it, but I'm sure it has elements of it within.
100%.
I mean, hell, they're keeping their like, oh, we're not going to talk about this character's role in the game because it's secret. I'm like, I bet you they work for Biosyn. You know what I mean? Like things like that. Like, yeah, like I think I forget what character it was, but they're like, we're not going to say exactly how this guy's coming back. It's one of their made up characters from Jurassic World Evolution. But like we've already seen that the other characters from Jurassic World Evolution are playing roles that tie into what we know about Dominion. Like they're working for like the Fish and Wildlife Commission. Yeah. They're working for this. So I'm like, they work for Biosyn. 100%. I think that's what it's going to be.
I think that's the interesting thing. Because of the Dominion delay, we're going to learn a lot about Dominion through both Camp Cretaceous and Evolution 2. So
but I wouldn't be surprised
anybody
if
that truly doesn't want spoilers for Dominion, you got to avoid those two things.
Well, keep in mind, Camp Cretaceous was always meant to come out before Dominion.
Well, yes, leading up to it, but there's definitely going to be things in there.
There's going to be
supposed
elements.
To be what, a month before the final season, a month before. I don't know.
No. It was always meant to have a one season before tied with the marketing, and then the final season is supposed to come a month after Dominion, and that's still happening.
That's still happening, but this season's coming a lot earlier than Dominion's release. We're still 260 something.
Yeah.
days.
So what would have happened was like we would have got season 4 in like
it was meant to be like a month or so before Dominion.
May,
yeah,
May, something like that. But all the same, like, I mean, I don't think we're going to get that much out of it. I don't think they're going to have like, they're pretty careful about those things. So it's just like, I don't know. That's why I'm humoring Biosyn, despite it not making sense with Manticore. And the reason why they introduced Manticore is because they couldn't use Biosyn. But that's
the thing. Manticore could always be just a shell corporation that Biosyn owns.
It could be.
Could have always been Biosyn.
It opens up a bunch of plot holes. Why does Biosyn need to use Sammy when since between 1993 and 2001 anybody could sneak onto the islands? We saw it in the sequels. Literally, people accidentally ended up on those islands. People purposefully ended up on those islands. And there were people with very little money.
But the Jurassic World genetics got better, Chris. Remember? The dinosaurs are better.
The only thing I could humor is that because the Sinoceratops is not like a proper dinosaur, it's actually like an amalgamation of Ceratops and DNA. It's technically a hybrid. So maybe Biosyn / Manticore were only interested in hybrids, and in this rare case, the Sinoceratops actually fit into that fold. They're trying to fit, maybe they had like, yeah, we can make our own dinosaurs, but we cannot figure out these hybrids that we know they're cooking up. So maybe that's what it came down to. Maybe. Sure. I don't know. That would really mean that the writers went deep though into the lore, especially with Sinoceratops, which like I'd be surprised. Even though they've done a good job with like some of the tertiary and surface level details, I'd be surprised if they went as deep as like that. That's some real deep stuff there.
That's some hardcore. That's like JP Legacy.
That's some hardcore deep stuff right there, Chris.
Yeah, that's well,
slightly too deep.
Almost
deeper than my liking.
It hurts.
Oh.
So we have a giveaway.
Yes, we do.
Announce. This is a very exciting giveaway.
Listen up, everyone. Listen up.
About something that Asees is a big fan of. So we are giving away game codes for both Jurassic World Aftermath Part 1 and, get this, Part 2.
Heck yes.
So the game codes were gifted to us by the team at CoatSync. Lovely team, lovely people.
Thank you, CoatSync.
And they are asked to give away. So If you want to win Jurassic World Aftermath Part 1
you want to win it. You do want to win it. Trust me.
And you want to win it hard, all you have to do, every entry, is like this podcast on YouTube. Comment on this podcast on YouTube. Comment anything you want. And subscribe to the InGeneral podcast channel. And we will pick at random.
There's no excuse.
There is no
But
excuse.
if you need sold, Asees, you've played the game.
I played part 1
tell us about
and 2.
Aftermath, bud.
I like it a lot. Part 1, as you guys have probably played and heard or watched at this point, it seems very repetitive with the same dinosaur raptor chasing you, same mechanics, gets over, doing it over and over again. It's kind of repetitive and boring. But part 2 comes in at you with different dinosaur experiences, such as the T-Rex. That's right. You get to play against the T-Rex in some situations, and it's very nerve-wracking, and it's crazy when you're just like crouching there and you look up with the headset and you see this massive T-Rex head. Spoilers.
It's massive cartoony T-Rex head.
Hey, it might be cartoony, but if you role played like I did and got super into the game, it was a very cool experience. And the story,
I love it. What's the story, Matt? What's the story? Come on.
Story was pretty decent. The story is my favorite part of Aftermath.
So it's set sometime after Jurassic World's fallen, and you're playing as a guy who's hired by an ex-Jurassic World scientist who has to go back to Jurassic
Mia
World.
Everett.
That's right, Dr. Mia Everett, who has to go back to the island for whatever reason to retrieve some information. And then things happen, and then I don't want to get too spoilerific with it because there's a lot of cool Jurassic World and Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom story bits in it that tie the two movies together in like behind the scene kind of ways. Exactly,
Blue,
yeah.
Dr. Malcolm.
And you learn more about different things that were going on the island behind the scenes that you haven't heard about before. It's really cool, and the way everything ties up and like encapsulates in this big epic final chapter, final like 30 minutes. It's like super cool. I think it's honestly the best Jurassic World story I've seen to date.
Are there any big so at the end of part 1 there's that big reveal
Yes.
about Blue. Are there any other story reveals in part 2 that you're like, oh wow, this seems important to the future?
There are some bits that tie into Camp Cretaceous, especially. There might be some little things here and there that might be tying into Jurassic World Dominion.
Honestly, spoiler alert. Just talk.
Big spoiler alert.
No, let's talk about that real quick.
Okay, which one? Which bit?
What ties into Camp Cretaceous? What ties into Dominion? Or at least, what do you believe?
So if you don't want to know what ties in, like this is going to be spoilers full on. Like one thing that ties into Camp Cretaceous, at least unofficially, is the bioluminescence aspect of the show.
That also ties into the live tour.
Exactly right. There you go. Cool. Everything's tying together. It's one big universe, guys.
It's all connected.
Yeah, but so there's a bioluminescent raptor in this game, and the gameplay mechanic with the bioluminescent raptor is really cool. Like they have you in like this completely dark room. You got a flashlight.
Is it one of the raptors from part 1?
It's a different raptor actually.
Oh, so there's another raptor that comes into play.
There are more raptors in this game. Yes.
What? There were 3 in the first part. Where the hell did the other ones? And they're like, oh, we only had 3. Where did the other ones come from?
I think there's one new one that came in from somewhere, but like it's all explained in the game. Like Mia tells you all like the whole storyline and everything. But either way, I'm not selling it well, but like literally go play this. It's a great story.
Okay, and then Dominion.
Dominion, I don't remember because I was like, oh, Dominion, cool, and I just kept playing. I literally forgot. But I think there's some little like it's like on the email or something. It's like a little like nod that might be like, oh, this could like tie into the movie.
It might be one of those things that like it doesn't seem important now, but like once everything's out and somebody's
it'll be like a little Easter
they're gonna be like, it was right in front of us the whole time.
Yeah, exactly. Something like that. It's like, oh, that's what those two guys were talking about on the email. Like that type of thing. It's like a little thing, yeah. But either way, super cool game.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a really cool concept. I think it's fun to play. I think that it's hard to play because VR requires a large open space. To run around in, and that's very hard to acquire, even in like the best like floor plans of houses and apartments. My place, it's virtually impossible. I mean, I have my largest room is basically a dining room, and it's got a dining room table in it. So if I push my dining room table to the other side, it's not fun to play in the sense that like I don't really have the navigational ability in my apartment to play it, and I imagine many people are in the same place. So then there's the sitting mode. There is a sitting mode. I don't get motion sick. I don't get motion sick. It's more like playing a video game, like with the sticks and whatnot. I don't get motion sick. I got motion sick with that.
Oh no.
It's just not, the game is not made for VR in terms of like what most people's experience with VR is going to be. The other thing is it's well made, but it's kind of simplistic. I think it's a pretty good game. I do like it. I do like it. I think it's a shame that the survival concept was used on VR though. I think that I'd be way less pessimistic if we were getting more AAA experiences on traditional gaming platforms. The fact that we're not makes me a little bit pessimistic because this is sort of like the watered down gimmick version of what everyone's been asking for. And
See,
while the storytelling and writing is very good in it, the gameplay is a little simplified, but not simplified
sure.
enough to make it like perfect for VR, or at least perfect for the average user's experience on VR. Where like
The
games
way
like
I see
Super
it,
Hot are really made for VR.
yeah, super hot's incredible. The way I see it is, this is more of like an amusement park kind of ride. Like it's almost like it's kind of like I don't want to say novelty, but it feels like a novelty in the sense that like, oh, I went on the Jurassic Park ride. I got this cool story for this little bit in this unique format. This kind of feels like what that
It's
is.
just
It's
hard
like,
to play in the sense that it's like hard to find a way to play it, and also not
sure,
many
I
people
guess.
are going to be able to play it because not many
And the
people
VR
have
headset
a VR
itself is like
headset.
the
I
big
think VR is really cool.
bridge.
I
Yeah,
think the game is pretty well made. I
it's not
think the
accessible.
problem is the ability to play it is pretty difficult, in part because a lot of people don't have VR, and then in part because it requires a very unrestricted play space. If you don't get motion sick, then I guess you could play the traditional way, but that's not as fun as like running around and like ducking below covers and counters. I really
Your
tried,
knees
but
get
I
very
just
tired. I
I
tried
really
that.
tried, but I just couldn't do
My
it
knees were hurting.
because yeah, I couldn't do it because I didn't have enough room. I was
Sure.
like navigating through these tiny, like it wasn't possible to like run away from a raptor because you just immediately like run face first into a wall. Like it was just like the way the
But so
game
are
wants
you?
you to play it.
Were you physically running in like physical real life space?
Oh yeah, like I was
Well,
running and pulling
that's
like,
the issue.
yeah, well,
You
you're
can't do
supposed
that.
to. No, but you're supposed to. If the raptor sees
Well,
you,
you
you got to
need a
get yourself
hanger
into that
size
locker.
thing.
That's the thing. You got to. I mean, I drew my boundary walls and everything like that. The problem is my apartment is your typical American apartment that doesn't have wide open floor plans, and
Sure.
where it does have open spaces, it's got a couch, a cabinet, and everything like that. Like it's got a dining room table, it's got a radiator, it's got narrow doorways. It just
Sure. I didn't play with a big space. I played maybe like in a 9 by 9 space, and then but the thing what I
it's
did
gotta
was
be
I
a big
used
one.
my body as like the head. So I used like the left stick to like move my head, like my body, but the right stick was never to look. I would look with my body and my head. So I'd be like spinning
Oh,
in
so you didn't
circles.
play it fully. You didn't move entirely.
No, I didn't like walk
Oh,
a
I'll
space.
tell you what,
I
it's
don't live
fun.
in an
It's
airplane
fun when you
hangar.
walk. It's
Well,
fun.
I bet it is, but I need to like
Like
who has
that's
a
the way.
space that big though?
There's multiple play
Like you're
styles
right.
for it. So there's like full, like
Yeah,
you're in control of it, like the way that's meant to be played. But you need a goddamn airplane
you
hangar
need
to
an
play
airplane
that
hangar.
game. Like
Yeah,
it's really, you need a really big wide open space to play it like that. It is really cool. I tried playing it for a while, navigating like because you can draw boundary lines, which like you can't see in the game, but like it'll tell you when you're getting close to objects
yeah.
like you don't want to intersect with. It was just not very playable, but it was cool. It was cool just walking around these areas and looking around. The other thing is the art style. The whole idea is you're really there in real life, but the art style breaks that immersion. I've played so
Yeah,
many
it does a
VR
little bit. Yeah,
games.
for sure.
It's just the dinosaurs don't look like Jurassic Park or Jurassic World dinosaurs, and the art style. The whole idea is
I
you're
would
supposed
disagree
to be
with that.
there. It's supposed to be a virtual reality. You're supposed to really believe that you're really there, and the art style breaks that illusion so much.
I
I
disagree with
think
that,
I think
Christopher.
the Star Wars games do a way better job. With
They
the
do. The Star Wars games do a better job. Yes.
yeah, Vader Immortal, Galaxy's Edge.
That's the thing though. I role played the hell out of this game when I played it, and even like the cartoon aspect of the game, I was still sold. Like I was there.
I wasn't scared, and I know that if I had like a realistic
I got
raptor
scared.
snarling inside of me, in front of me, I would have been
Wow.
scared. I would have been very
No,
scared.
I don't know. I felt it because I don't know. Maybe because I was role playing the game so hard. Like I was like, oh, I'm this guy. I'm Sam, and like I don't
Is
know.
that his name?
I think it was Sam. Yeah. I felt pretty like engrossed the entire way through. I think this is probably my favorite Jurassic Park or Jurassic World game that's ever been made.
It's just like Alien Isolation Light Edition,
Yeah,
and
but
when
that's
I
enough.
say
That's all I
Light
need though.
Edition, I really do mean Light Edition.
It's bare bones.
But it's bare bones. But it's the thing is the bones that you get out of it, they are well made.
They're
If
sturdy.
you are able to play it, the
They drank
problem
milk.
is when you're wearing a VR headset and you're using joysticks, it's so disorientating. I don't get motion sick. Roller coaster simulators don't get me motion sick. A lot of things don't get me motion sick. But if you're playing around and you're not really moving, it's really easy to get motion sick playing. It's
I
a
think
hard game to play.
It's personal dependent at that point because
I think it does
I didn't have a
depend,
hard
but
time
like
with it.
I can say as somebody that doesn't typically get motion sick, and I've talked to a lot of people that play this game. A lot of people, not all of them, but a lot of people said the same thing. They're like, man, like they're like, I kind of like it, but they're like, I can only play it like 20 minutes, 30 minutes at a time because then I'm about to like vomit my guts out. And I was able to power through, but like I was like, man, I feel like awful while playing this, but I want to keep going. Like I want a cool Jurassic World experience that's not building a park. So I powered through.
Prospective buyers, I had no issue with it in terms of bodily function. So don't let Chris's
Listen,
story.
I would be less cynical towards it
cool.
if I would be less. And can you at least agree here? I'd be less cynical about it if we were getting more AAA first person, third person, whatever experiences that weren't park builders. That weren't.
I get
tied
it.
to
I know.
VR.
I get it.
It's like a bit of a bummer. I would think it was the coolest thing ever if we were also getting similar experiences in more traditional formats. I would think this is the coolest thing ever, but because it's the only like semblance of a traditional gaming experience we're getting, and it's in such a novelty form factor that's like hit or miss. It's like frustrating to me, I guess.
See, that's why I don't hate it that much because like I see it more of as a ride than a video game. It's like, oh, it's a quick little 2 hour, 3 hour like ride experience, and I'm done with it for like a while. It's not like a video game like I'm sitting down and like grinding away at it. You know, it's a different experience. I set both aside.
I suppose. I guess just if we were getting more traditional experiences, I'd be a little bit more accepting of it. But I have my issues with it. But the thing is, I did have fun with it. Fun with it, but like it was fun with a catch.
Did you finish part 2, Chris?
No, I haven't even played part 2 because I can't get it to work.
Wow, this guy's talking all this mad hate, and he hasn't even finished.
No, I can't get it to work. I have it. I have it downloaded. It just won't boot up.
You have to reinstall both games. I had the same issue.
Interesting.
Yes.
And it let you play it from the start?
Yes.
Because their tech support said you have to beat. Their tech support said you have to beat the first game to play part 2, and if you uninstall part 1, it will delete your saves, and then you can't play part 2. They were wrong.
True.
Okay, because I'm not playing part 1 again.
No, you can start the main menu gives you options to start from part 2 right away.
Okay, cool. Because they said you had to beat part 1 before that.
That is not right.
Okay.
How dare they?
So the developers do not know what they're talking about. They just stopped providing tech support. They eventually like gave up.
Now the game's out. Who cares? They're done.
Well, they gave up trying to tell me how to play the game. Like their tech support's like, oh yeah, you have this game. Like, oh, we'll help you. They're like, this is weird. This is weird,
baby.
Yeah, and then they just stopped replying. But that's interesting. So the game developers don't know how. You just took a leap of faith. You deleted it, reinstalled it, and it worked.
Yes, because I was in the same issue as you were, and I was like, I got to play this game now, and I was just reinstalled both games, and it was good to go.
Yeah, I was getting to that point, but then all this stuff with my grandma started happening.
Yes, of course.
So, yeah. Anyways, by the way, she might be going home tomorrow or the next day.
Heck yes.
Things aren't great, but, you know, hey, a little bit of good news on the podcast.
Yeah, hopefully. Fingers crossed, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Aftermath, though, part 2 is the final part.
Yes.
There's no part 3 coming.
No.
The ending is pretty, it pretty much ties into Fallen Kingdom, and then it makes a lot of sense, like how it ends.
Is the volcano...
No. This is before that time. From what I recall, this is before that time.
It's like right after Jurassic World.
Yeah, it does. I was really hoping that Camp Cretaceous would actually let us see the Velociraptors from Aftermath.
Oh, you know what? I thought that was going to happen too.
I thought it would be because we're talking about it all being connected, it all being canon and whatnot. I thought there's a few things that I think Camp Cretaceous dropped the ball on. And maybe it's not Camp Cretaceous dropping the ball on, but Universal not communicating all the different stories that they're creating with their partners. But I think Camp Cretaceous should have seen the Troodon, or at least a hint of Dr. Kate Walker in the Troodon program from Live Tour. And then I think that we should have absolutely seen the Raptors from Aftermath at some point, something like new Raptors, because they even put like lore into these Raptors. So they're like, oh yeah, they're custom. They're small. They're like they're smaller than your traditional Velociraptor. Like there's the reason why they look. Yeah, the reason why they look different and the reason why they act different and everything like that is because they are bred to be different, but the program wasn't finalized. So it would have been cool to see Raptors that are like more colorful and a little tweakier than blue, but also smaller.
Oh, but one more thing, I forgot to mention this.
But wait, there's more.
At this point, everyone knows that BD Wong is in the game as his voice for Henry Wu. But I don't know if it's a spoiler or not. Maybe it might be, but if it's a spoiler, whatever. You can hear Jeff Goldblum in this game. He plays
Yes.
a prominent role.
Yeah,
A prominent cameo role.
You access him through like audio logs through the computers
Exactly.
and whatnot.
It's very
like,
relevant to the story. It's very cool.
No, the voice acting in the game and the story in the game is actually really, really cool. I enjoyed
really
that
cool,
aspect.
man.
It's what made me power through being motion sick while playing the game the entire time.
I think you'll like part 2 a lot. There's a lot of cool like oh my god, there's one one thing. I don't want to spoil too much.
Just spoil it.
Picture. No, I'm not gonna spoil it because I want people to play the game.
I've seen it on Twitter.
It hit me in the soul.
I saw it on Twitter. Yeah.
That hit me real. With how the story like concludes.
So there's like it's not just like a little Easter egg.
No,
like,
it's like a thing. Then it hits me in the soul. I'm like, oh, I like this game. Yeah,
cool.
That's what sold me on it.
Anyway, no, I mean, there's a lot to like about that game. I honestly just don't think it needed to be a VR game.
It didn't need to be a VR game for sure. That's absolutely for sure. But it is what it is, and it's a cool experience for what it is.
Yeah, no, I just think I would like it better if they would have leaned more into traditional gameplay, because it seems like they took a traditional gameplay concept and then shoehorned it into a VR concept. That way,
easily be a $30, $40 Xbox or PS5 game or whatever. It is. Easily, yeah.
Anyhow,
that's my rant on
how can they win the codes? How can they win the codes?
Yeah, so if you want to play game, you can win it for free. All you have to do is like this podcast on our YouTube, comment on the podcast, and make sure you subscribe to the InGeneral podcast YouTube channel, and you will be entered into the draw for a winning part 1 and part 2 of Aftermath. But guys, we have some questions to get through.
I love questions.
We have some great questions this time. We always do. We have this one. If you could choose any of the movie characters to make an appearance in Camp Cretaceous, who would it be?
Lewis Dodson.
Some silence.
That's a good one.
You want Dodson in season 4?
That's a good one. I think so. Just a quick introduction. Just a little quick intro.
I guess if Biosyn is in, that makes sense. I'm trying to think. Shoot, now that you put that in my head,
I have two.
Now that you put that in my head, it's hard for me to think of anything else.
Alan Grant, Ellie Sattler. I'm telling you.
I just feel like it's really,
man. I can see it. There's gonna be a hint. Last episode. I can
honestly,
see it now.
Honestly, I find like I really think that it's gonna be hard to kind of like I don't know. Hold on, Jack. What about you?
You're really struggling with this question.
It's a hard question, dude.
No, like he put Dodson in my head. Now I'm like, shoot. I'm like, I need a different
Dodson,
answer.
Grant, or Sattler. It's one of the. It's probably all three, honestly.
Jake Johnson's character, Lowry.
That'd be a strange one, but okay.
It'd be a strange one, but it would fit Camp Cretaceous. And anything from Jurassic World, really, because it's comical. So it would fit the kind of animated format.
I suppose he knows Jurassic World's computer systems, and should Dave and Roxy need help, like trying to locate the campers and whatnot, Lowry
somebody's got to stay around.
Yeah,
he's
actually he never left the island. He's just there with like a beard.
He's been watching the kids the whole time from the control room, just like, come on, you can do it.
Come here, come to me. I can't leave this room. No, shoot.
That's not a bad answer. That's not a bad answer at all.
I think Lowry makes sense.
I think maybe what would be interesting, without knowing like what roles they play, so this might not make sense. I think it would be interesting to be introduced to one of the new characters from Dominion. Maybe
cool.
Maybe DeWanda Wise or somebody else that's like a new character in Dominion that we know is playing a bigger role. I think it'd be fun to kind of meet one of them through Camp Cretaceous first. Again, that's tentative because we don't know what roles they're playing, so just ultimately in the end game it might not make sense. But with what little we know right now, that'd be cool. Because I think meeting somebody first.
Sure.
Somebody first through Camp Cretaceous would be fun.
Especially if the timeline had always been that this season would drop before Dominion, then it does make sense to introduce one of those characters.
But we know them at that point, yeah, sure.
Interesting. No, I guess out of pure, because if we could do whatever we wanted, man, I don't know, put Eric Kirby in there, put Paul Kirby, put Amanda in there, wherever they go to. Imagine if there's
Oklahoma, that's the desert.
Yeah, yeah.
Kirby Paint and Towel Plus.
That's it. Okay, great question. Okay, so there's another one here. I think we've been asked this before, but I always love this question. What would your ideal post-Dominion scenario be for Jurassic? More films or more TV/Netflix shows?
Why not both?
Why not both?
I don't know where I want the series to go.
It really does depend
It's
what
so
happens
hard.
in Dominion, but I know that
Yeah, I
if
don't
they
know where I
are
want it to
continuing
go.
Jurassic, then I want them to go small budget movies, at serious
In
movies
which case,
too. I'd like
Netflix, it makes more sense at that
some
point.
thrillery kind of movies. However, I think also a prequel series for Netflix or something like that, live action Jurassic.
No, the
would
creation
be
of
cool.
the park and Richard
Creation of the
Attenborough, or not Richard
park, whether it's
Attenborough,
whether it's Jurassic Park or the creation of Jurassic World. Even seeing the cleanup of Nublar building into Mizrani building Jurassic World would be a really cool prequel. It's not the first thing I want, but there's something there.
Yeah,
Heyday
sure.
Sorna, why not?
I think assuming that we want to take time to figure out what the future of the franchise looks like and wait for the right person to come along to do that, I think a great spot to explore would be the open park era of Jurassic World. So that's between 2005 and 2015. I would love to see an anthology, like a slight anthology series where maybe things start to connect a little bit, but I'd love to see an anthology series where maybe we follow like the day-to-day lives of the park workers in Jurassic World. See the day of a vet, see the day of an ACU trooper, see the day of get to see the park and then also start to explore the bigger story through their perspectives in interesting ways. I think it'd be a great way to get dinosaur action where it's also not like, oh, this is where everything falls apart. It's like, oh, well, this is what the day-to-day life of a vet is like when it turns out that they need to go deal
Bobby
with
got trampled the other day by a triceratops.
Yeah, we got like a rampaging dinosaur out there. We got a dinosaur that's like raging.
Bobby's dead. He got trampled.
We got a dinosaur that is raging right now. You got to throw yourself in the middle of it. Also, just like, I don't know, I think there's a lot of stories to tell, and I think there's a lot of parts of the park that we never saw. It'd be a way to expand the world. It'd be a way to really celebrate Jurassic World.
No, that should be an animated series.
Perhaps. I think I'd like to see it live action.
Comedy
I would like to see it like a live action limited series. So like not an ongoing series. Like 6 episodes, anthology where we follow a different character each episode, but by the end
each episode directed by a fan.
Each episode directed by a different director.
Fan.
But by the when you start to get to the end, it starts to tie together a little bit more. And maybe it can plant a seed. Maybe it can plant a seed that is paid off in Dominion, so it's not so much like what the future of the franchise is, but we see that it was all leading to this.
Everything.
You know what? At this point,
but no, I think it'd be fun to play with that, and I think there's a lot of dinosaurs in Jurassic World we never saw, a lot of locations we never saw, and if the open park existed, it happened. I feel like we did not play in that sandbox enough, so we might as well play in it.
Yeah, I think there's definitely some stories there. I think for me, just purely from like what I want out of the Jurassic franchise, I would even take at this point a smaller movie, but a movie that is about a group of people going to one of the islands while it's
Jurassic Park 3.
Not Jurassic Park 3, but like something that's just that. I want to see that kind of exploration again, the isolation feeling. I want to see that in Jurassic, and while that might not be for everyone at this point because the franchise has moved on so far from that original concept, I still I love seeing that, a group of people that go somewhere for a specific reason and then ultimately their lives are in danger and they have to survive and they're abandoned on this island. They're discovering secrets, and whether that could dive deeper into the lore of Jurassic and Sauna and Hammond or something, or whether it explores Site C and whatever was going on there. But just that idea, again, it's something I'd like to see, but I know that we're probably well past that with the franchise now, unless it's prequel related. And
really left field idea I've always had that I thought would be a lot of fun, and like a bit of an homage to Alien, would be like a shipping vessel, but like maybe like a super giant one, like a fictional shipping vessel that's almost like a cruise ship with like different like crew quarters and whatnot, where they're stranded at sea and like a pack of like there's limited crew and like a pack of velociraptors got loose on it, and like their communications are isolated for whatever reason. So it'd be like a very weird isolated one-off, almost an homage to Alien, where you have
SS Venture, dude.
Yeah, where you have these raptors on this, well, no, something bigger. I'm talking like one of those mega cruise ships that are like basically like one of those mega cruise ships that are like basically like a hotel on water, and then you have these raptors on it, and you have the crew members stranded for multiple days trying to like out in the middle of nowhere, no communication and whatnot. There's a lot of
could end up feeling like Poseidon or something like that, they're all climbing through the hull of the ship, and like...
I'm just thinking,
the water's coming up for some reason.
a really
Yeah.
cool idea, like, to explore, and it could be like a lot of fun and very tight, very limited focus. It's just the idea of these characters surviving and these animals on this one boat, and
I could
it's
go
not
for that,
like
man.
grand scale. It's just very tight.
Yeah.
It could be like it almost would be like Jurassic World's Black Mirror. Like I could see like a 44-minute episode working. Like, you know what I mean? Like if we're talking like
You guys
Black
are on
Mirror, where it's
something,
like
man.
44 minutes to an hour and 20 minutes or so, where it's like standalone. It's not quite a film, but it's also not quite just an episode. Something like that would be a lot of fun, and that's where, I'm thinking episodic. That could be like part of the episodic.
I think
Like
you're right,
during
Chris.
the time that the park was open.
Okay, we have another question. This is a question specifically for Chris, I would imagine. Do you
Wow.
know why Mattel is coloring their dinosaurs like Troodon from Jurassic Park the game?
No, I don't
Okay,
know.
Cool. Next question.
Next
It's
question.
it's really interesting. No, I have no goddamn idea. I think it's interesting because Captives has the Herrerasaurus coming out that is based off Jurassic Park the game, and they didn't pull that out on their own. That was something that was given to them. I think it's just really there's species that were on Jurassic Park's list, and I think Universal then goes through and like, have we ever done anything for this species? And whatever the first time they've ever like done something is where they just pull from. And like, yeah, I don't think that they're gonna dictate that to be in the films necessarily, but they're just like, oh, well, here's some reference material. Here's what a Troodon looked like when we did it. Here's what a Herrerasaurus looked like when we did it. I don't think they're necessarily saying it's canon, but I think they're just referring to it. I also think that these partners are allowed to do whatever they want should they choose, because we've seen with Jurassic World Evolution, they do whatever they want. We saw Jurassic World Live Tour. They just Jurassic World Live Tour. They made a giant compy as a Troodon, so they surely aren't.
Throwing shade, eh?
Fuck.
They're certainly not. They're certainly not stuck with those designs, but I do think it's cool, and it would be cool if we eventually got Troodon and like it was loosely inspired by the game. I used to say no, but like my perspective has changed on that.
So we have another question here from it might be a little controversial, but if the weaponized dinosaurs plot continued, do you think that we could have gotten a scene of a Triceratops fighting the Taliban?
What the heck?
I'm not
What
touching
the
that.
heck?
Okay.
Who is that from?
Venomous Frenchie.
Wow.
So you know.
I mean, wasn't that the entire like log line of Jurassic Park 4 before it like became
So the sales script was
Yeah,
about a
that's
terrorist
kind of like-
organization who
yes,
have
it's
kidnapped a
nondescript.
child.
We shouldn't
Was
laugh.
somebody
It's
kidnapped a child?
kind of what it was based on, man. I guess
No, I know. Well, we should laugh, maybe, but not laugh. I mean, okay, so
it was gonna happen.
there was always
And
so it
Jurassic
ended up
World,
being a
right?
drug cartel in the John Sayles script. They probably realized that maybe making dinosaurs fighting terrorists might be like a little too sensitive, so they're like, drug cartels. You can still make fiction about drug cartels.
Christopher, you're wrong, because they literally didn't they not have one of the original Jurassic World, the Jurassic Park 4 park scripts, and with fucking raptors fighting Al-Qaeda or
Jurassic
whatever?
World from the not John Sayles, Jaffa Silver, like before Colin
Yeah.
took over, it either opened or it closed with him taking down like a terrorist organization, like a nondescript terrorist organization, and like a nondescript like deserty location.
Yeah, so
with
it literally came back
velociraptors.
twice.
Yeah, thank God they canned that, because for one thing, what the hell? Also,
Defeats the
another
purpose
thing,
of the movie.
what the hell? Like,
It's bad taste. That's for sure.
yeah,
not great.
it's bad taste and it's not Jurassic Park. It's like, what?
No, but none of that.
Could
script
we have seen
was
it, to be
Jurassic.
honest
It was
with
so
you?
odd.
To be honest with you, yeah, if they would have went in that direction, yes, we could have seen it. I mean, in the
100%
John
would've
Sayles
seen it.
script, they dropped an ankylosaurus from a helicopter. Remember that? They dropped the ankylosaurus out and it parachutes
I
down.
read that script
It's-
once, man. It was a long time ago.
It has a Dilophosaurus swinging tree to tree. It's not called Dilophosaurus. It's called the It's like the scientific name of the spitting lizard, but it's a Dilophosaurus swinging tree to tree with its tail.
Yeah.
Like
The
it's
thing
using
is,
its
if you
tail as like
haven't
an
at
appendix.
this point, if you
Jeez.
haven't read the John Sayles Jurassic script, you need to, because
You know what we
should
should do?
experience.
We
And that
should-
Ain't It Cool news article that unveiled it before the script did actually leak, where they say, you know,
They
this is
ruined
a
it, man.
franchise maker or breaker.
Oh,
He's not wrong.
I
Like,
guarantee you, actually, maybe I know that somebody involved with it leaked it so that the movie never got made because they
Whoa,
knew it was
Steven
going to kill the
Spielberg leaked it?
franchise. Oh God, no, Spielberg wouldn't leak it. But anyhow,
You hear it here, folks.
we should make a
Spielberg
GoFundMe,
leaked it.
and we should make a GoFundMe, and then we should do an animated mini show.
I would love to, man.
Bringing the John Sayles script to life.
That would be so.
We were supposed to do a read of that many
We
years
should do a
ago,
read
remember?
through of
Yeah,
that.
but
We should
I'm
do a read through
I'm
that.
upping the scale now.
Please
Screw a
up
read.
it, boys.
Let's
You never got it the first time.
do an
it better this
animated
time.
show. I mean, it would take money, but if we could pay people to do animation,
We could
Hey, why
orchestrate
not,
that.
man?
That could happen.
could happen.
I'd be down. We could do some
lawyers
voiceover
put
work.
in-
for
we can
that.
then do voiceovers, bring in the community to take on different characters.
I'm
Man,
excited
that
about
would
the
be so
opportunities.
funny.
It would be really fun. I
So
would-
here's another.
we can each direct an episode. Like we can separate it into different episodes. Like break
There
down
you
the
go.
acts into different episodes. Different people can
There you
direct the
go.
different episodes.
So hey, here's another question, and this is something we did kind of already answer. But if we go to sauna, I assume for Camp Cretaceous, what would be your favorite locations to visit, and what is your favorite sauna species? So we did kind of ask this question, but we didn't really go into depth about where they could go on sauna, where the kids would go, or just generally where we would return to. What would we see? Obviously, the embryonics administration building,
Yeah, the EA.
I want the
EA
village.
E
Sports.
It's in the game.
The worker village has got to be the
village is
one
all
of
I
the
want,
most-
man.
But you got to think if
All I
modern
care about.
day, the worker village, it's going to be on the ground.
Well,
Like
it's,
that.
it's a cartoon, man. It might not be. Never know.
No,
Yeah, true. This
it-
is as it was back then.
And plus, it would have been
it's better
built. It
than-
would have been built more solidly
to
than
last. It's built to
a
last.
set facade. So just because the set facade is in the ground doesn't mean
No,
the,
I'm not
workers
talking
will-
about the embryo. I'm talking about the workers' village. It was like rotted in Lost World, rotten and
Oh.
falling apart. Like in 2015.
It's all
That's-
exponential. It's like an exponential decay. It doesn't.
It would be
go
de-
as
it would
bad.
be in rough
Fast.
shape, but there would probably still be recognizable elements.
Some of the structures would be there, but
Yeah.
again, an animated show, right? So they could just all be standing.
I
But
would
it
like to
be
see
cool
more of
see
the
the
workers'
workers'
village. Like we
I wanna see
saw in the
Wuzo's.
workers' village, like we saw behind the scenes from the Lost World, we saw the workers' village was a lot larger. We see that in Trespasser, so it would be cool to
Yeah.
see like an expansion of it, like really see those elements that we know were meant to exist, but
It's
like
quite
we never
small
saw.
in Trespasser, to be fair. It's smaller than the Lost World.
Yeah,
Is it-
well, I always
It's a
kinda
bigger
see that as, like,
space,
an
but it's more
offshoot.
spread out, and then half the
Yeah.
buildings
Oh, I
aren't
see.
the same.
I always saw that as like a separate offshoot. Do you know what I mean? Like
yeah, it's definitely not all of it. Like, it's
Yeah.
definitely supposed to be a lot.
So
bigger.
it would be cool to see that, and it'd be cool if we can get the Carnotaurus, the camouflaging Carnotaurus scene. I'm hit and miss on that because it was like the Indominus thing, so it'd be almost weird giving it to the Carnotaurus, but at the same
the
time,
way
I
that
feel
scene
like
is written in the Lost World novel is fantastic.
it's so
Like,
cool.
that
That's the
would
thing.
be
The
cool to
the
see, yeah.
camouflage idea is wasted on the Indominus. They don't use it in a very fast. I really appreciate the fact that they try to bring that forward. I really do. I think that was a really cool nod. The problem is they just never really wrote a good sequence the way the Lost World's like the Lost World novel. It's not as good as Jurassic Park at all. It's actually not great. It's one of Crichton's worst novels. It feels unfinished to me. It's got a lot of good ideas. It just
Wrong.
doesn't feel as polished. It doesn't feel as polished. But that Carnotaurus scene is so memorable. There's also a lot of other memorable scenes, like when when he's in the raptor like roll cage and the raptors are rolling him around
Tumbling
and
around,
whatnot. When Eddie,
It's a
Eddie,
great
or is it
novel, it
Nick?
really is.
One of them gets pulled off of the high hide from the raptors.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, the
Eddie.
raptors climb up into the high hide or try and climb
Yeah,
the tree it's in.
there
and stuff.
are
Oh, yeah, the top of the tree.
They pull the environmental horror into the Lost World novel really well, where like you're like stuck in like a little situation and there's nowhere to go and you just got to let it play out. That's something that I feel like the movies just have not done a good job of. Like what if you're mountain climbing and there's velociraptors on the top and there's velociraptors on the bottom? I don't know, just something silly like that. Like what do you do? What do you do if you're stuck in a valley and a stampede happens with dinosaurs? Like
That
I mean, a
happened with
valley.
Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. To be
No,
fair.
it didn't. That wasn't a stampede.
Yes,
and
it
that wasn't
did.
a
They went to the
valley.
water, and the water.
I'm
was
talking
coming
like
in
a
the ball.
proper stampede, like
There was a
like
proper
wildebeest,
stampede in
like
that
shoulder,
before.
like wildebeest shoulder to shoulder type of stampede, where you're like have narrow.
Oh, Jurassic Park
like-
3 had that.
No, that was just more of a herd running. I'm talking about like a stampede
win
that
with this
you will
guy,
get
eh? You can't
trampled to
win.
death.
Jurassic
I'd
World
love to
also had
see-
that.
I would love to play environmental, the concept of this planet being unforgiving sometimes, and then couple that with dinosaurs and see how that plays. And I feel like the Lost World novel did that.
Sure.
So for
Interesting.
Sorna locations, I don't know, tie into the Lost World novel.
Oh, maybe the game trail though. Seriously, that whole game trail location could be a cool thing.
That could
to
be
see.
fun. I love that,
especially
I
if
love the
it's
look
still
of
being
it.
used as a game trail, and
Mhm.
just generally.
It's a game trail.
Carnival's
Carnival's
hunt
hunt
game
on
shows,
game
Mr.
trails.
Ludlow.
So
you want
you
to set
do
up
like
base
Lost
camp
World.
or a buffet?
I know it too
Buffet.
much, Chris. I know
Buffet.
it too much.
Let's find a new spot, shall we?
Shall we?
Over and out.
Over and out.
Peter.
Well, we gotta
gotta
hang
watch-
out again and watch this movie, man.
I gotta watch Lost World, but yeah, we gotta watch Lost World. Okay, so I think we got a sauna. Location,
Any other questions?
Favorite sauna species? There is a question
Final.
here.
Oh, JP3 Raptors, favorite
Minus.
sauna species.
Yeah, pteranodons as well. I'd love to see them.
Oh
And
yeah, I just
Spinosaurus.
love the Pteranodons.
Spinosaurus. See, that's the thing. JP3 did it so well. I introduced two new species. Well, arguably two new species. Pteranodon, right? And then the Spinosaurus. Pteranodon was in the end of the Lost World, but not really.
I
And
love
then
the Pteranodons
introduced
so much.
new iterations of the Jurassic Raptors. Jurassic Park 3 did it right.
Yeah.
Those,
Yes, it did,
all
brother.
of those dinosaurs are iconic.
Yeah.
They're-
No,
they're
the
incredible.
dinosaur, I mean, that's the power of Stan Winston and Crash McCurry as well.
And Joe
Another
Jones.
species that people forget about because it's not as iconic as you know, some of the JP3 Raptors and whatnot, though, the Pachycephalosaurus.
Yeah, I like those.
I think it's a really cool dinosaur. I would have loved to see more of it. It's got
We
a
should
really
have seen
cool
them in
design.
Jurassic World.
Yeah, I mean, you
More
kind of
than
see
we
them.
did.
So
Yeah, man,
it's a
doesn't
shame.
count.
It's a shame that Camp Cretaceous didn't. I think that would have been a great dinosaur to throw into Camp Cretaceous. But anyhow,
Maybe that should
We
have
can
been the
go on
dinosaur when they
for
come
that.
off in season 3 when they come off the docks and they're in
The
that misty
Pachycephalosaur?
environment. It's
Oh,
the
the
Tyrannosaurus.
Tyrannosaurus,
Would have been cool
a
if it's
dinosaur that has
Pachycephalosaurus.
no basis in the franchise so far. But like,
Yeah.
I do like
Have
it.
the
It's really
Patchies
cool.
ramming
Tyrannosaurs are
towards them and ramming the metal containers and shipping containers. I don't know. That could have been interesting. Or just the Patchies somewhere in that. In
But maybe we'll
Cretaceous.
see them in season 4.
Yeah,
Oh,
a
sort
new
of.
island
That'd be cool.
awaits after all. So
It's a new island for the campers.
And they would look good in a deserty environment as well if like they
What,
were
the
stolen
kids?
off of Sorna.
I mean,
Christopher.
Pachycephalosaurus.
So we have a final question here, and there's 3 questions. Nope, there's 4.
What?
So the first one: what is your ideal Jurassic Park aesthetic, as in the designs, colors, architecture, and things like that?
That's tough.
OJJP.
So for me, I think it's the dilapidated abandonedness of Lost World.
Wow.
That's fair.
That's the ideal. The jungle, wetness, smoke,
I should change my mind. Yeah, Jack's
mist,
right.
the
Mine's the same as
abandoned
Jack.
buildings, embryonics buildings abandoned, dinosaurs in the
Yeah,
jungle.
dilapidated is the way to go.
The jungle
you're
drums
right.
in Lost World. Come on.
on.
Come on. Come on.
Heck yeah.
Humid. As weird as it sounds, an aesthetic for Jurassic Park and the Lost World is humidity.
You
And
look
I feel
humid
like-
right now, Chris.
Thank you.
He does.
Humidity.
Humid.
Humidity. Like that sense of just that
It's
humidity.
the only
that
thing that's on his
texture,
mind
that
because
grit.
I asked him during podcast to turn his ACs off, so he's just sat in a
He's like,
humid
"You
room.
boiling."
He's like, I'm
He's
humid.
hot.
It's
Sweaty.
humid. No, I think that sort of wild, gritty safari look. You know, you're in the wild. There's like sort of like a safari, that safari adventure mixed with
haze
just like
in the
gritty
distance.
wilderness, like the
Dilapidated JP,
humidity. Yeah.
I get it. That's
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, that mixes well with Lost World aesthetic as well. I think
I
those
agree.
are very Jurassic. Yep. Okay, next question. What do you think the franchise truly stands for?
Cautionary tale of science and greed.
Ooh.
Yeah, science versus nature, greed versus, I guess, like, I don't know.
Chris is getting his mind blown right now. Wow.
He's too humid for this. I'd say life finds a way. Life finds a way. Don't know if you
science
guys
is
have
the
ever heard
answer,
that
I guess.
before. Yeah.
Stood on the shoulders of geniuses.
Before you
Something
even
about
knew it, yeah.
lunchbox.
No, yeah. Greed and science versus
Yeah.
nature and like intentions.
Yeah.
You know, science isn't the enemy, but a lot of times these corporations then use it in that way, in Jurassic, in a way that sort of they try to play God and it backfires.
Jurassic World is more about
Techno
the
thriller.
power of science.
But I do love the idea of wilderness. Wilderness is a very big part of it, just with untouched by man. I think it's the
Outside,
fact that
Daisies,
like, you know,
flowers.
Yeah.
Lilacs.
Okay, so there's one more question, and this one is quite a good question. So, in what way do you think the franchise can continue in a way that actually matters and still remains significant to the story post Dominion?
Human cloning. I'm not kidding, man. That's like the most interesting, like, relevant thing with me.
Well, come on, let's be honest. They already have human-animal hybrids. It's already a thing.
yeah, Indoraptor.
Are we past that point? Are we now?
Nice, Chris.
getting an OnlyFans show from Chris on webcam.
Apparently. Very flexible, very flexible. I don't know. I don't know the answer to this
How could
question.
it
This is
continue?
tough.
It's
I don't know.
in
I don't
a
know
way
how I
that
see, I
because
see Dominion first.
they're not wrong. It's you have to be careful with sequels because they end up feeling stale. It's like why? Oh, because that whole meme, right? They've opened Jurassic Park 6 times and they never learn. It's like okay, well, not
Well, we
quite.
can't go on to it.
Wait.
It's opened
It's
once.
only been
in the
opened
entire-
once, and that was
Yeah.
that was not, and it's
It
not the
wasn't
time
even
you
in
think
the
it
first
is.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it is interesting. It gets stale quick. I mean, they ran out of steam after Jurassic Park 3, and after Jurassic Park 3 wasn't successful, they realized they really had to have the right formula for it. And they never found that. They still haven't found that. So it's interesting to know how could it continue. And I think that's where, when we ask about what do we want to happen after Dominion, and we all of us kind of agree, like, let's have some like smaller movies and a TV show. It's because we know that another movie would be hard to get right.
Mm-hmm.
And
They need
there's
time.
lots of
I think there's a lot of
stories to tell,
ways.
smaller stories to tell within it.
And I think it's just taking that idea of a world where this type of genetic technology exists, but also now I guess the dinosaurs are in the wild, and seeing where that lands. And to be honest with you, I mean, at this point, why not look into like Cenozoic creatures?
I don't want to see that. That's not as cool as a dinosaur to me. I get the idea behind it. I don't think it's as cool though.
No, that's fair, but
They look too much like normal animals.
I don't know. There are some weird ones. There are some really weird animals that lived during those times. It'd be fun to see them, skirmish with a dinosaur. I don't know. I think it's just taking the idea of what reason do humans have to delve into that type of genetic technology? What are they trying to achieve from it? You can make a lot of different reasons and a lot of different motivations. Find a good motivations. Find a good point of the world. Hell, it'd be interesting if what if they start cloning ancient humans?
I think you got to spin this series off, man.
What if they start cloning cavemen?
Exactly, you got to spin it off. It's got to be something other than Jurassic Park.
But dinosaurs are already wild in nature at this point. So
yeah, exactly. So
there's always going to be dinosaurs. So now it's what if they're doing other things? But you got to give them good. You got to give them good motivations. It can't be about a park, and it can't be evil. It's got to be they had good motivations. They had to have good motivations, and it went wrong. That is where the Jurassic World sequels kind of have messed up, especially with Fallen Kingdom, is what the hell was the point of the Indoraptor? Where were the good motivations?
Cash money.
It was just, at least with Hammond, you see where his motivations were. In his mind, he was just making a prehistoric animal park. To him, that sounded pretty harmless and pretty cool. But these evil mustache twirling villains being we're going to militarize raptors and sell them to evil people. It just doesn't, they need to get back to that sense of Jurassic Park where the motivations were earnest and then things go awry. And play with genetic capabilities and technology and looking at it from a world perspective and see where it goes from there and see what a world with dinosaurs in it that you just can't go back on. What does that look like? What does that look like? It could be pretty cool. And then hell, I don't know what type of, I always thought bringing DX would be cool, but make it a little bit different.
I don't think you can with the current climate.
Well,
I think it was, it was originally in it, man. Remember
what if you made DX? What if you made DX affect birds? So it's like a bird flu, but it doesn't get into humans. But there's a giant bird population die off, and they're shoot, we need to figure out why birds are dying because it's actually affecting things in a very negative way across the world. It's not just
at this point,
and then they have to realize, oh my god, it's coming from the dinosaurs, and then they have to go back to the origins. They have to go back.
No, because at this point, anything virus or pandemic or outbreak related, it's gonna be they're just cashing in on COVID, even though we know DX is kind of in the lore already. I think it's what it's going to look like, at least.
Yeah, I mean, Hollywood studios definitely overthink things and underthink things at the same time. So you might be right, but I think that's the way to go.
I think DX was originally in Jurassic World, at least some sort of hints in it, in Dominion at least. At least there was some sort of hints. Remember the Colin or someone involved in production said once COVID hit,
Jeff Goldblum was there were some sensitive subjects there, a little too close to the global events, and I was
think
what the
that
hell
was
could that
probably
be?
the DX, man. I think that was DX.
It could have been, it could have been.
Think it was,
been something Biosim were doing, maybe.
Maybe, and it's a bad look now considering what's going on with the world. Yeah, it's going to be interesting going back after the movies come out and looking through all the potential things that were going to be this movie. I look forward to hearing about that as it inevitably eventually come out.
There's a lot to look forward to from this point forward. We have on December 3rd, we have Camp Cretaceous season 4. Mm-hmm. We have Evolution 2 coming out in. Do we have a date for that?
November 9th.
November
9th, I think.
It's very soon. My God.
Yes. And I think the Jurassic World Dominion trailer somewhere in between those times.
Wow. Yeah.
Christ. Yeah.
Yeah, so really great questions. Again, as always, we enjoy going through those questions. But it is time to say goodbye. It's time to say goodbye.
Always
to
a
the
sad
podcast
time.
forever. Episode 97 is done. Get the hell out of here. Turn off your computers. Turn around. Go outside. Especially if it's raining. Especially if it's nighttime. Go missing. Go missing.
Don't do.
Go outside and go missing.
You'll end up on another podcast.
Yeah, we don't want to do that. No, thank you.
But thank you for listening as always. Remember
podcast.
the giveaway contest for winning part 1 and part 2 of Jurassic World Aftermath. All you have to do is like this episode on YouTube, comment this episode on YouTube, and be sure you're subscribed to the channel. We will pick the winners by the next episode. And yeah, I mean, there's been a lot to go over, and I think next episode we're going to have a lot to go over too. There's some big things dropping.
Yes.
So yeah, as always, guys, thank you so much for joining me. That's it.
It's Prometheus, I would say.
Prometheus was a great movie. Great movie.
I liked it a lot. So much better than Alien Covenant. So much better than Alien Covenant.
Yeah, but I still liked that movie. I
hated Alien Covenant.